A crack formed across the fabric of reality, silent, impossible, and glowing with power no world was prepared to understand. It happened at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, directly above Times Square during Vought International's Hero Fest publicity event. 500,000 people packed the streets, phones raised toward the massive screens displaying the Seven in choreographed heroic poses. Homelander stood center stage atop a crystal platform, cape rippling in manufactured wind, his smile practiced and predatory as cameras broadcast his perfection to 800 million viewers worldwide. The sky turned the color of burnt copper. Lightning that wasn't lightning tore downward, black veined with gold, smelling of ozone and something older, something that predated electricity itself. The bolt struck the center of Times Square with force that shattered every window for 3 blocks. The shockwave sent barriers flying, knocked cameramen sprawling, and carved a crater 15 feet deep into asphalt and subway tunnel alike. The screens went white, then dead. When the smoke cleared, a man stood in the crater's center. He wore black and gold that seemed forged rather than tailored, angular armor that caught light like obsidian, a cape that moved with weight and purpose, lightning still crackling across broad shoulders. His presence radiated wrongness to every enhanced individual in a half-mile radius, a frequency that made compound V-enhanced blood sing with instinctive warning. Power rolled off him in waves that felt ancient and absolute. Teth Adam opened his eyes, white fire burning in black sclera, and immediately knew something was fundamentally broken about this world. The mortals screamed and scattered. Predictable. He'd seen that response across 5,000 years. But the scent in the air made his jaw tighten. Chemicals, not divinity. Enhancement, not blessing. And the 7 figures on that stage ahead postured like champions. They reeked of false godhood. "Everybody stay calm!" Homelander's voice boomed across the square, amplified by speakers that somehow still functioned. His smile never wavered as he descended from the platform, boots touching ground with practiced gentleness. "Just another soup making a dramatic entrance. We've all been there, right?" Nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. Phones rose again, red recording lights multiplying like eyes. Black Adam stepped from the crater. Pavement cracked under his boots. His gaze swept the scene. Massive screens displaying corporate logos, mortals wearing shirts bearing the images of these champions, barriers and merchandise, and carefully controlled worship. His people had looked at their oppressors the same way once, before he'd painted Kandak's palace walls with their blood. "I am Teth Adam." His voice carried without amplification, each word cutting through the square's ambient noise like a blade. "Champion of Kandak, chosen of the gods, defender of the oppressed." His eyes fixed on Homelander. "You wear the mantle of protector. Tell me, what have you protected?" Homelander's smile gained an edge. "Well, buddy, I've saved this city more times than you've probably had hot meals. Stopped terrorists, aliens, supervillains, the works." He spread his arms to encompass the crowd. "These people love me because I keep them safe." Adam's expression didn't change. "You lie poorly." The square went silent. "The chemical stench on you," Adam continued, stepping forward. "On all of you." His gaze swept across the stage where A-Train, Queen Maeve, the Deep, and the others stood frozen. "You were not blessed. You were not chosen. You were manufactured." The word dripped with disgust. "Like weapons, like tools." "Okay, wait." Huey Campbell stood behind a barrier 50 yards back, camera in hand, his press credentials from Starlight House giving him front-row access to what was rapidly becoming an incident. He glanced at Annie, Starlight, who stood rigid on stage, her expression unreadable. Is he actually calling them out? Here? Now? "He doesn't know how Vought works," Annie whispered back, horror and something like hope warring in her voice. "He doesn't know what they'll do to him." Homelander's laugh was practiced, meant for cameras. "Listen, I don't know what third world shithole you crawled out of. Adam moved. The plaza erupted. Where Homelander stood, there was suddenly a crater within the crater. The impact sent the stage structure collapsing, sent the Seven scrambling skyward or backward. Homelander himself was simply gone, supersonic displacement carrying him 3 blocks east before he arrested his momentum, smashing through an office building's facade. Black Adam hovered where Homelander had been, lightning crackling between his clenched fists, speaking loud enough for every phone camera to capture. "I have ended kings. I have shattered armies. I have reduced empires to memory and dust." His eyes blazed brighter. "Do not mistake chemical enhancement for divinity, child." 3 blocks away, Homelander extracted himself from concrete and steel, his suit torn at the shoulder, actual damage. Blood trailing from his nose. Real blood. His expression transcended rage into something colder, something that had been building beneath the smile for years. "Mayday!" Ashley Barrett's voice shrieked through every Vought earpiece. "All heroes respond. Rouge Soup, Times Square, threat level absolute. Contain and control." A train blurred forward, breaking the sound barrier, fist cocked back for a speed blitz strike that had pulped Soups before. Black Adam caught him by the throat mid-stride. The kinetic energy had nowhere to go. A-Train's momentum converted to heat and shock, his legs still pumping uselessly at super speed as Adam held him aloft like a child holds an insect. The speedster's eyes went wide with primal fear, something he'd never felt from another Soup. "You rush toward combat," Adam said quietly, "without assessing your opponent. Your power is wasted on you." He threw A-Train skyward. The speedster's trajectory carried him 200 feet up before gravity reclaimed him. He crashed into a news helicopter's landing pad atop a skyscraper, alive but unconscious. And suddenly, every Soup in New York understood. This wasn't another Compound Viv case gone rogue. This was something that could actually kill them. If you want to see more universe crossovers, hit subscribe and comment which character or world you want to see collide next. Because this... He panned to where Black Adam descended back to the crater, cape spreading like Judgment's wings. This just changed everything. Adam's voice echoed across the silent square one final time. "I will learn the truth of this world, and if these false champions have oppressed rather than protected..." Lightning danced across his shoulders. "Then I will do what I have always done." He shot skyward, black and gold contrail cutting through afternoon sun, vanishing into clouds before Homelander could return, or Vought could deploy containment teams. In Vought Tower, 47 floors of executives stared at screens showing a single truth. They'd just lost control of the narrative. And in a dingy apartment in Brooklyn, Billy Butcher watched the footage replay, saw a Soupe casually brutalize the Seven, and smiled for the first time in weeks. "Well," he said, reaching for his phone, "ain't that interesting?" Black Adam found them 2 hours later, drawn by the chemical stench of false divinity, concentrated in one location. The Vought Premiere Theater on 47th Street. Gilded, excessive, designed to make mortals feel small. Inside, the Seven conducted their twice-weekly Meet Your Heroes stage show. Choreographed answers, scripted banter, celebrity guests asking pre-approved questions. 2,000 seats filled with true believers who'd paid premium prices for proximity to godhood. Adam descended through the theater's domed ceiling. Glass and steel rained down as he touched the stage, boots hitting polished wood with thunderous finality. The spotlight operator, acting on pure instinct, swung his beam to illuminate the intruder. Black and gold armor gleamed. White eyes surveyed the crowd with something between pity and contempt. Homelander stood from his throne-like chair, nose bandaged, suit replaced with fresh perfection. His smile was murder wrapped in PR training. "Really? You're crashing our show now? That's just rude." "Your show," Adam's voice carried to every seat without amplification. "Your performance, your lies." He turned to face the audience. "Do you know what these beings truly are?" "Security!" Ashley Barrett's voice screeched through backstage comms. "Get him off that stage now!" Queen Maeve moved first, years of actual combat experience making her faster than the others' hesitation. She came in low, sword drawn, Vought-forged steel that could cut through tank armor. The blade caught Adam across the ribs with force that would have bisected a normal soup. It shattered against his skin. The sound rang through the theater like a broken bell. Maeve stared at the jagged metal in her hands, watched fragments clatter across stage, and understood in that moment why legend spoke of invulnerable champions. Adam caught her wrist. Gentle, almost careful. "You have a warrior's instinct," he said quietly, for her ears alone. "But you serve cowards." He released her, turning back to Homelander. "You most of all." "Okay, you know what?" Homelander's smile finally cracked. His eyes began to glow red. "I'm done with the mysterious tough guy act. You want to see real power?" Heat vision lanced forward, twin beams that had melted through bank vaults and soupy skulls alike. Black Adam raised one hand. Lightning erupted from his palm. Not red, not heat, but actual electrical fury touched by magic that existed before science named it. The bolts caught Homelander's heat vision mid-flight, energy meeting energy, and for 3 seconds the stage became ground zero for a light show that had the audience screaming and filming in equal measure. Then Adam's lightning pushed through. The magical current struck Homelander center mass, lifting him off his feet, slamming him through the theater's back wall into the lobby beyond. The sound was catastrophic. Marble shattered, steel support beams groaned. The entire building shuddered. "Holy shit," Starlight whispered, her hands glowing with her own power but making no move to engage. She'd felt that lightning's passage, recognized something her compound V-based abilities instinctively recoiled from. The Deep sensibly dove off the stage and crawled toward the nearest exit. Black Noir drew his knives and charged. Adam respected the attempt. Here was a warrior who understood silence, who attacked without telegraphing intent. The blades came from 4 angles simultaneously, Noir's enhanced speed making him blur between strikes. Under normal circumstances, this would have overwhelmed most opponents. Adam caught every knife. His hands moved faster than cameras could track, faster than Noir could process. 6 inches from Adam's throat, every blade simply stopped, gripped between fingers that didn't bleed when the edges pressed against them. "You fight without fear," Adam said, something like approval in his tone. "That is admirable." He twisted his wrists. The knives crumpled like aluminum foil. "But admiration does not grant mercy when you serve tyrants." He placed one palm against Noir's chest and released a pulse of kinetic force. Noir flew backward through 3 rows of theater seats, unconscious before he landed in a groaning heap of broken furniture and Vought merchandise. The audience had devolved into chaos, some fleeing for exits, others filming with religious fervor, a few frozen in shock. On every phone screen, this moment was already going viral, the 7 being systematically dismantled by someone they couldn't touch. Adam turned to the remaining heroes. A-Train was absent, still recovering. The Deep was gone. Black Noir was down. Queen Maeve held her ground but didn't attack. Starlight stood conflicted, caught between corporate obligation and the growing realization that maybe, possibly, someone had finally come along who could actually challenge Vought's control. "Tell me," Adam addressed them all, his voice cutting through panic. "How many have you failed to save because cameras were not watching? How many have died because rescuing them would damage your brand?" The last word dripped venom. "In my land, when the powerful abandoned their duty, I removed them from power." "You don't understand anything," Homelander's voice roared from the lobby. He stumbled back into view, costume scorched, hair disheveled, blood, actual blood, trailing from his ears. "This is my world, mine. I'm the real hero here. You're just another freak trying to take what's mine." Adam's expression shifted to something colder than contempt. Understanding, perhaps. Recognition. "Ah," he said softly. "You are not a protector who became corrupted. You were never a protector at all." His eyes blazed brighter. "You are simply a child with too much power and no one to say no." Homelander's scream was wordless rage. He launched forward, abandoning technique for pure fury, fists glowing with heat, eyes blazing, every ounce of compound V-enhanced strength behind attacks that could crack mountains. Adam met him in midair. The collision sent a shockwave that blew out every window in the theater. They grappled, strength against strength, and for the first time in his life, Homelander found himself matched, no, exceeded. Adam's hand closed around Homelander's throat. The so-called hero clawed at the grip, heat vision firing wildly, burning holes in the ceiling. "You are not a god," Adam said, loud enough for every camera to capture. "You are a product, a commodity, a tool that believes itself divine." He hurled Homelander through the theater's front entrance. The impact cratered the street outside, stopped traffic, sent pedestrians scattering. Homelander lay in the depression, coughing blood, staring up at the sky with an expression no one had ever seen on his face before. Fear. Black Adam descended through the shattered entrance, cape spreading like Judgment's wings. But before he could continue, before he could finish what he'd started, sirens filled the air. Dozens of them, military-grade. Vought's rapid response teams converging, and behind them, the distant roar of something heavier. Adam glanced up, saw the helicopters, the armored trucks, the containment teams deploying with weapons that hummed with frequencies designed to incapacitate soups. His lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. "You send armies," he said, more to himself than anyone present. "You mobilize resources to protect your false gods, rather than question why they need protecting at all." Lightning enveloped him. When it cleared, he was gone. Supersonic departure, leaving nothing but thunder and a crater where Homelander still lay, staring at nothing, bleeding for the first time in his life while cameras captured every moment. In Vought Tower, 47 floors of executives had stopped panicking and started calculating. This wasn't just a problem. This was an extinction-level event. The emergency board meeting convened at 11 p.m. in Vought Tower's Crisis Command Center, a windowless war room 3 floors below ground level, designed for scenarios exactly like this. Ashley Barrett stood at the head of the table, her hands shaking despite 3 Xanax and a shot of bourbon. Around her sat what remained of Vought's executive leadership. Cameron Coleman from Vought News Network, Dr. Jonah Vogelbaum via secure video feed, and representatives from legal, PR, and superhuman operations. On the main screen, footage of the theater incident played on loop. 73 million views in 8 hours, Coleman said, his newscaster voice cracking. That's not counting international feeds, mirrors, or, Jesus Christ, the merchandise already flooding online. Black Adam t-shirts, fan art. People are calling him the God of Vengeance. And I don't care what people are calling him. Ashley slammed her palm on the table. I care that he hospitalized Homelander twice, humiliated the 7 on live television, and we have no idea who he is, where he came from, or how to stop him. Actually, Dr. Vogelbaum adjusted his glasses, pulling up a holographic display. We know several critical facts. Analysis of the crater at Times Square shows no compound V markers in the residual energy signature. His cellular structure, what we captured from debris, shows no genetic markers consistent with any known enhancement serum. English doctor. He's not one of ours. He's not one of anyone's. That power source is completely unknown. Silence fell like a guillotine blade. Impossible, the legal representative said finally. Every enhanced individual in the Western Hemisphere has been cataloged since 1952. If he existed, we'd know, unless he didn't exist here until 2 days ago. Everyone turned to the speaker, a woman in a dark suit, badge identifying her as CIA Special Activities Division. She'd been sitting quietly in the corner, observing. Now she stepped forward, placing a tablet on the table. Satellite thermal imaging shows an anomaly at 2:47 p.m. Tuesday. The energy discharge that preceded his arrival wasn't an explosion or portal device. The physics people are calling it a dimensional puncture. Their words, not mine. Ashley's laugh was slightly hysterical. You're saying he's from another dimension. Are you listening to yourself? I'm saying he appeared from nothing with power that reads as functionally unlimited. No compound V signature, and absolutely no digital footprint before Tuesday. No birth certificate, no social security number, no records anywhere. The CIA agent's expression remained flat, which makes him either extraterrestrial, interdimensional, or something we don't have classification for. Pick your poison. Can we kill him? The question came from military liaison, a colonel with dead eyes. We threw 40 soups at the theater. He walked through them like smoke. Our analysts estimate he's operating at 95% of whatever his maximum capacity is, and we have no idea where that ceiling tops out. Vogelbaum pulled up comparison data. Homelander's maximum recorded output is approximately 3,000 psi strike force and heat vision capable of 5,000 degrees Celsius. This individual casually exceeded both thresholds. So that's a no. That's a conventional weapons are pointless, enhanced individuals are ineffective, and escalation may trigger exactly the massacre we're trying to prevent. Ashley's phone buzzed, then buzzed again, then erupted into a cascade of notifications that made her screen blur. She glanced down, felt her stomach drop. Homelander just posted on social media. Everyone's phones lit up simultaneously. The video was shot in Homelander's penthouse. His face still bruised despite accelerated healing, his eyes burning with barely contained psychosis. To the coward who attacked me, who attacked our heroes, our city, our people. His voice cracked with rage. I'm going to find you. I'm going to make you bleed. And when I'm done, there won't be enough left of you to identify. That's a promise. The video ended. 70 million people had already watched it. Oh God, Ashley whispered. He's going off script. This is exactly what we can't let happen. It's already happening, Coleman interrupted, pulling up social media analytics. Look at the split. 62% of responses support Homelander's justice. 38% are calling Black Adam a liberator. We've got hashtags trending. God of Vengeance, Rod False Heroes, Run Bros, Team Black Adam. The country is fracturing in real time. Then we control the narrative, Ashley said, desperation sharpening her voice. We make Black Adam the villain. Terrorist, foreign agent, threat to national security. I don't care. Flood every channel with footage of the destruction, interview victims, get the president on record condemning Director Barrett. The CIA agent's voice cut through like a scalpel. I suggest you watch this before committing to that strategy. She pressed play on another video. Brooklyn, 8 hours ago. A residential neighborhood. The footage was shaky, shot on someone's phone from an apartment window. It showed a scene that had become grimly common. A soupy, second-rate, desperate for attention, staging a rescue by setting an apartment building on fire himself, planning to save some residents for the cameras. But the fire spread faster than intended. Trapped families on the upper floors, real screams, real terror. The soupy hesitated, realized the cameras weren't there yet, and started to leave. Then lightning struck. Black Adam descended like judgment itself. He tore through the burning building's wall, moving with impossible precision. 47 seconds of footage showed him extracting every trapped resident, elderly, children, pets, depositing them safely on the street with a gentleness that contradicted his reputation. Then he turned to the soup responsible. "Wait," the would-be hero stammered, backing away. "I can explain. This was just... You endangered innocence." Adam's voice was terrible in its calm. "For personal glory." The lightning was instant. The soup's scream lasted less than a second. When the light faded, only ash remained. Adam turned to the rescued families. "You are safe now. This pretender will harm no one else." Then he was gone, leaving behind 30 witnesses who were already calling him their savior on social media. The boardroom sat in stunned silence as the video ended. "That's been viewed 90 million times," the CIA agent said quietly, with an 83% approval rating. "People are calling it justice." She fixed Ashley with a look. "So, I'll ask again, Director Barrett. Are you certain you want to make him the villain? Before Ashley could respond, every screen in the room went black. Then, impossibly, Black Adam's face filled them all. I have spent 2 days observing your world. His voice resonated through every speaker. I have seen your heroes stage disasters for profit. I have witnessed mortals worship those who view them as commodities. I have watched your corporations manufacture divinity and sell it to the desperate. His eyes blazed white fire. I am Teth Adam. I do not seek your approval. I do not require your permission. But I offer this warning. Any who abuse the power they have been given, any who harm innocents while wearing the mantle of protector, any who use their gifts for personal glory rather than justice. Lightning crackled across the screens. You will answer to me? The transmission cut. Every screen returned to normal. In the command center, no one spoke. No one moved. Finally, Ashley's voice emerged as a broken whisper. We need to find him. We need to stop him. We need... Her phone rang. She answered without thinking. This is Billy Butcher. The Cockney accent was unmistakable. I believe we have something to discuss. The execution happened at noon in Flatbush, broadcast live on 17 different social media platforms. Black Adam had been tracking the soup for 3 hours. A B-lister named Gunpowder, who'd been using his enhanced marksmanship and Vought credentials to run a protection racket through immigrant neighborhoods. Pay up or accidents happen. Fires start. Children disappear. The kind of villainy that never made headlines because the victims couldn't afford lawyers and Vought buried complaints with NDAs and cash settlements. Adam found him outside a Bangladeshi grocery store. Hand extended for this week's payment. You extort the vulnerable. Adam's voice carried down the street as he descended from the sky, boots cracking pavement. Phones immediately rose. Someone started streaming. Within seconds, thousands watched live. You use your gifts to terrorize those who cannot fight back. Gunpowder spun, recognition flashing across his face. He'd seen the footage. Everyone had. His hand went to his sidearm, custom Vought tech, bullets that could pierce Soup's skin. He never cleared leather. Adam moved with speed that made A-Train look pedestrian, crossing 30 feet in a heartbeat, his hand closing around Gunpowder's wrist. The bones shattered like glass. The Soup's scream echoed off brownstones. Please! Gunpowder gasped, dropping to his knees. I was just following orders. Vought said we could... Your masters gave you permission to prey on the weak. Adam's expression was carved stone. Then your masters are as guilty as you. Wait, there are rules, due process. You can't just... I have walked this earth for 5,000 years. Adam's voice dropped to something colder than Arctic wind. I have seen empires rise and fall. I have watched the powerful devour the helpless in every age, under every system, hiding behind every law mortals create to protect themselves from justice. His eyes blazed. Your due process is a wall built to shield monsters from consequence. He lifted Gunpowder by the throat, holding him aloft as lightning began to dance between his fingers. The grocery store owner, Mr. Chowdhury, 63, who'd been paying protection money for 2 years, stepped forward with his phone raised. Please, he said in accented English, let everyone see. Let them see what he did to us. Adam turned, acknowledging the man with a slight nod. Then he addressed the cameras directly, speaking to the millions watching live. This man used power to terrorize the powerless. He hid behind a corporation's authority. He believed himself untouchable. Adam's grip tightened. Gunpowder wheezed, clawing uselessly at the hand around his throat. I am here to demonstrate that no one is untouchable. That power without justice is simply tyranny wearing a cape. You're insane, Gunpowder managed to choke out. Homelander will kill you. The Seven will... Your champions are cowards who I have already humiliated. Adam's tone was matter-of-fact. They will not save you. No one will save you. This is the consequence you earned. Lightning erupted. The strike was instant. Absolute. Gunpowder's scream cut off mid-breath as divine electricity coursed through him. Not burning, but disintegrating at a molecular level. In 3 seconds, nothing remained but ash drifting down onto blood-stained pavement. Adam released the residue. It scattered in the wind. He turned to Mr. Chowdhury and the small crowd that had gathered. Witnesses, victims, people who'd lived in fear. "You are free now. This one will threaten no one else." His gaze swept the cameras, nor will any other who follows his path. Then he was gone, thunder marking his departure. The streams continued for another 10 minutes. Reactions, interviews, Mr. Chowdhury weeping with relief while his daughter translated for reporters who materialized like sharks scenting blood. Within an hour, the footage had 80 million views. The comment sections were civil war. Fowers Patriot Freedom 88. Finally, someone with the balls to do what needed doing. These heroes have been untouchable too long. Justice Watch. This is murder, vigilante execution. This man is a terrorist and needs to be stopped immediately. Brooklyn. Mama, my nephew was accidentally hurt by a soup last year. Vought paid us $50K to shut up. I'm glad someone's finally making them pay. A law and order 2024. If we allow this, we descend into chaos. There are systems, courts, laws for a reason. As real talk. Those systems let soups murder people for years. Where was due process for their victims? The debate raged, fracturing along lines that had nothing to do with left or right, and everything to do with one question. Does power deserve consequence? In a warehouse in Red Hook, Billy Butcher watched the execution on repeat, a smile playing across his scarred face. "Beautiful," he muttered, reaching for his whiskey. "Absolutely fucking beautiful." He just murdered someone on camera, Huey said from across the room, his voice tight. "In front of kids, in front of everyone. That's not justice, that's exactly what it fucking is, Huey." Butcher turned, eyes gleaming with something manic. "You think the courts would have touched gunpowder? You think Vought would have let one of their products go to trial?" He laughed, sharp and bitter. "This cunt just did in 3 minutes what we've been trying to do for years. By becoming exactly what we're fighting against," Huey shot back. "He's just another soup who thinks he can do whatever he wants, except he's killing the right fucking people." "There are no right people to kill, Butcher. That's the whole point. That's what separates us from what? From Homelander?" Butcher's smile was razor blades. "Wake up, son. We've been killing soups since you joined. We've been breaking laws, torturing informants, setting off bombs in populated areas. The only difference is we pretended we were the good guys while we did it." Mother's Milk stepped between them, his voice calm but firm. "Both of you need to dial it back. Butcher, Huey's right. We can't support public executions. Huey, Butcher's also right. Gunpowder wasn't going to face real justice any other way." He fixed them both with a look. "The question isn't whether Black Adam's methods are right. The question is, what do we do about him?" "We recruit him," Butcher said immediately. "We stop him," Huey countered. "We learn more," Frenchie called from his workstation, monitors displaying freeze frames of Adam's lightning. "Because this energy signature, mes amis, it is impossible. No compound V marker, no biological enhancement indicator. This is something entirely different." He pulled up spectral analysis. "The energy reads as, how do I say, magic, genuine supernatural force. I did not think such things existed outside fairy tales." Kimiko signed rapidly. Translated. She says she felt it when he fought the Seven. Says it made her compound vibe react, like her body recognized something older than itself. Older than compound V. Huey frowned. "How is that?" His phone buzzed. Then everyone's phones buzzed simultaneously. Vought News Network alert. Breaking. President declares Black Adam a national security threat. Military authorized to use lethal force. $100 million reward for information leading to capture or neutralization. Butcher's smile widened. "Well then, looks like our new friend just became the most wanted man in America." He raised his glass in mock salute to the screen still showing Adam's lightning. Welcome to the shit, mate. Let's see how a god handles bureaucracy. Outside, thunder rolled across a cloudless sky. Somewhere in the city, Black Adam was listening and judging. Black Adam found the boys 3 days later in a condemned meatpacking plant in Queens, drawn by the scent of compound V residue and something else. The chemical signature of Temp V, desperate enhancement, borrowed power. He descended through the rusted skylight at 3 a.m., glass cascading around him like rain. The 5 figures below reacted with trained precision, weapons rising, bodies scattering for cover, tactical discipline overriding surprise. Billy Butcher had a .50 caliber Barrett pointed at Adam's skull before boots touched concrete. Now then, Butcher's voice was gravel and whiskey. Before we have ourselves a misunderstanding, how about we all take a breath and have a civil conversation? Adam's eyes swept the room, cataloging threats. The leader with the rifle, enhanced reflexes suggesting recent chemical boost. A muscular black man flanking left, military bearing, carrying incendiary rounds. A wiry Frenchman with what appeared to be nerve gas canisters. A mute woman whose compound vice signature burned brighter than the others. Permanent enhancement, involuntary, traumatic origin. And a younger man, barely beyond adolescence, holding a crowbar like it might actually help. You reek of the same corruption, Adam said, lightning beginning to dance between his fingers. Enhanced by the same poison that created those I hunt. Give me one reason I should not execute you where you stand. Because we're the ones killing the cunts you're after. Butcher's finger stayed off the trigger, barely. We've been hunting corrupt soups for years while you were wherever the fuck you came from. Yet you yourself used their poison. Adam's gaze fixed on Butcher with intensity that made the air feel heavy. I can smell it in your blood. Recent enhancement, temporary but potent. His expression darkened. You become what you claim to fight. Huey, show him. Butcher didn't lower the rifle. The young man stepped forward despite obvious terror. Pulling out a tablet. His hands shook as he pulled up files, documentation, evidence, kill lists. We're not soups. We're trying to stop them. Vought creates these people, turns them into weapons, and when they go bad, when they hurt people. His voice cracked. Nobody stops them. Nobody can stop them. So we do. Adam took the tablet, scanning through years of accumulated evidence. Photographs of victims, corporate cover-ups, compound V trafficking routes, financial records showing payoffs to silence families, internal Vought memos discussing acceptable civilian casualty rates for publicity stunts. His grip tightened. The tablet's frame groaned. This corporation. Adam's voice was quiet thunder. They manufacture these abominations deliberately. They create power without responsibility, distribute it to the morally corrupt, and profit from the suffering that follows? Now you're getting it, Butcher said. Welcome to the real world, mate. And your government. Adam looked up, white fire burning in his eyes. Your authorities? Your institutions of justice? Complicit. Mother's Milk spoke for the first time. Military contracts worth billions. Politicians in Vought's pocket. Federal agencies looking the other way because soups are necessary for national defense. His jaw tightened. The system protects them. Always has. Adam was silent for a long moment, processing this information against 5,000 years of experience. He'd seen this pattern before. In Egypt, in Rome, in countless empires. The powerful creating weapons they couldn't control, then building walls of law and bureaucracy to shield themselves from consequences. Kandak, he said finally, was under similar occupation. False rulers granted power by foreign empires, protected by distant authorities who profited from our suffering. His eyes met Butcher's. I killed them all. Every collaborator, every enforcer, every merchant who traded in our oppression. Lightning crackled across his shoulders. I painted the palace walls with their blood and built my nation's freedom on their graves. Metal as fuck, Frenchie whispered. I like him. So you understand. Huey said, stepping closer despite MM's warning gesture. You get why we do what we do, why sometimes you have to break the law to get real justice. I understand that you are mortals fighting gods with borrowed power and desperation. Adam's gaze swept them again, reassessing. You should all be dead. That you have survived this long suggests either remarkable fortune or genuine capability. Bit of both, Butcher admitted, finally lowering the rifle. Look, we're not asking you to join our book club, but you've been in this world 4 days and already have the entire military-industrial complex trying to kill you. You need information. Intel on Vaught's operations, soup locations, power assessments. He gestured to the warehouse's walls, covered in maps and photographs. We've been cataloging these cunts for years. And what do you require in return? Help us kill Homelander. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Adam's expression didn't change. The child god with the false lightning? I have already beaten him twice. Beat ain't the same as killed, Butcher said, something dark and hungry in his voice. And that's what needs doing. Not humiliation, not defeat. Actual, permanent. He's never hurting anyone again, death. He stepped closer, all pretense of caution abandoned. You got the power to do it. We got the intel to make it happen. Together, we end the most dangerous soup on the planet. Butcher, MM's warning tone was sharp. We talked about this. We don't know enough about... He's been executing soups for 3 days. Butcher whirled on him. He's already doing what we've been trying to do. Why the fuck wouldn't we point him at the biggest target? Because he's not a weapon we can control, Huey said quietly. Because once Homelander's dead, what stops him from deciding we're next? We've killed soups too. We use Temp V, by his standards. By my standards, Adam interrupted, his voice cutting through their argument like a blade. You are mortals who sacrifice your own health to fight beings that should not exist. You risk your lives to protect the innocent from predators wearing heroic masks. He looked at each of them in turn. You are not my enemies. Kimiko signed rapidly. MM translated, surprise in his voice. She says, she can feel you're telling the truth. Says your power doesn't lie. Adam nodded to her, acknowledging warrior to warrior. Then he turned back to Butcher. I will consider your proposal, but first... He pulled up a holographic display from the tablet, showing Vought Tower. I require information. This structure, its defenses, the locations of their leadership. His eyes blazed brighter. If Vought is the source of this corruption, then Vought must answer for its crimes. Butcher's smile was pure, vicious satisfaction. Now that, mate, I can help with. Outside, in 3 separate surveillance vans, CIA operatives watched thermal signatures through military-grade equipment, reporting back to Vought that their most wanted target had just made contact with their second most wanted targets. The board meeting was already being scheduled. The containment protocols were being updated, and in his penthouse, Homelander watched the surveillance feeds with eyes that burned red in the darkness, his hands clenched so tight that his palms bled. Homelander found him at dawn in Central Park, where Black Adam stood atop Belvedere Castle, watching the sunrise over a city that feared him and worshipped him in equal measure. No speeches, no posturing, no cameras. Homelander simply came in at Mach 2, fist cocked back, all pretense of heroism abandoned for pure, murderous intent. The sonic boom shattered every window within 2 blocks. Adam turned at the last possible second, catching Homelander's fist in his palm. The kinetic energy had nowhere to go. It cratered the castle beneath them, sent cracked spider webbing through century-old stone, dropped them both through 3 floors of historic architecture into the foundation. They rose from the rubble simultaneously. No more games. Homelander's voice was stripped of its performative charm, revealing the psychosis underneath. No more humiliation, no more making me look weak in front of... His voice cracked. In front of everyone. He came again, faster, techniques abandoned for berserker fury. Heat vision and fists and grappling, trying to find any weakness, any opening. Adam met him blow for blow, neither giving ground, the impacts thunderous enough to register on seismographs across Manhattan. They crashed through the castle's north wall, tumbling across Turtle Pond in a spray of water and violence. Joggers scattered. Early morning tourists ran for their lives. Somewhere, someone was already streaming. Homelander got Adam in a headlock, heat vision burning at point-blank range into the side of his skull. "Why won't you die?" Adam's elbow found Homelander's ribs. The crack was audible. Homelander's grip loosened for a fraction of a second. Enough. Adam reversed the hold, drove Homelander face first into the pond's rocky bottom, held him under. "Because I am chosen by gods," Adam said, his voice calm despite the struggle. "And you were created in a laboratory." Homelander exploded upward with enough force to send a waterspout 50 feet high. His costume was torn, blood streaming from his nose and ears. Real damage, meaningful damage, the kind that healed but left him knowing, truly knowing, he could be hurt. "I don't care if you were chosen by every god that ever existed," Homelander screamed, his composure completely shattered. "This is my world. I'm the one they love. I'm the one they need. You're nothing!" Heat vision lanced out, twin beams that had melted through aircraft carriers. Adam raised his hand, calling lightning that intercepted the beams mid-flight. Energy met energy. For 5 seconds they stood locked, powers blazing, the air between them shimmering with heat and electricity. Then Adam's lightning pushed through. It wasn't divine mercy that stopped the bolt inches from Homelander's chest. It was tactical assessment. Adam released the energy into the sky, the discharge lighting up the pre-dawn darkness like a second sun. "You're a child having a tantrum," Adam said. "You destroy because you can. You kill because no one stops you. You demand worship because you have never earned respect." He stepped forward. Homelander actually stepped back. "I have faced true gods. You are not one of them." "Shut up!" Homelander launched forward again, abandoning even basic combat instinct. Pure emotional explosion. Fists and fury and desperation. Adam caught him by the throat mid-charge. They hung there, suspended 30 feet above the pond. Homelander clawed at Adam's wrist, heat vision flickering uselessly against skin that wouldn't burn. His legs kicked at air. For the first time in his life, Homelander felt genuinely helpless. "I could end you here," Adam said quietly. "Snap your neck. Drop you from altitude your body cannot survive. Electrocute you until your enhanced cells simply cease functioning." His grip tightened fractionally. Homelander gagged. "You know this now. You feel it. The proximity of actual death." Homelander's eyes were wide, bloodshot, terrified. The invincible god of America reduced to a frightened animal. "But your death serves no purpose yet," Adam continued. "You are a symptom, not the disease. The corporation that made you, the government that deployed you, the system that shields you, these are the true enemies." He brought Homelander closer, white fire blazing in his eyes. "You will live long enough to watch your false empire burn. Then, and only then, will I grant you the death you have earned." He hurled Homelander skyward with enough force to send him into low orbit. The trajectory carried Homelander 2 miles up before momentum failed, and gravity reclaimed him. He fell, tumbling, barely able to arrest his descent before cratering into the great lawn. He lay there gasping, ribs broken, pride shattered, every cell in his body screaming that he just encountered something he couldn't beat. Adam descended slowly, landing 20 feet away. Around them, a perimeter of phones captured everything: the fight, the dominance, Homelander's defeat. Millions would watch. Millions would see their perfect hero bleeding in the dirt. "This is your future," Adam said, his voice carrying to every camera. "Every time you abuse your power, I will be there. Every time you harm innocents, I will find you. Every time you hide behind your corporate masters," lightning danced across his shoulders, "I will drag you into the light and show the world what you truly are." Homelander pushed himself up, swaying, blood dripping from his mouth. His costume was ruined, his hair disheveled. His eyes held something they'd never contained before. Genuine, existential terror. "I'll kill you," he whispered, the threat hollow. "I'll find a way. You will try," Adam said simply, "and you will fail, as you have failed here." Sirens filled the air. Military vehicles, containment teams, the full weight of America's response to a threat they couldn't quantify. Helicopters appeared on the horizon, the cavalry arriving too late to matter. Adam looked up at them, then back to Homelander. "Tell your masters," he said, "that I am coming for them next. Tell them that their walls will not protect them. Their lawyers will not save them. Their political connections mean nothing to one who has toppled empires." He lifted skyward, lightning crackling. "Tell them the god of vengeance is done observing." He vanished in a thunderclap that shattered every remaining window in Central Park's vicinity. Homelander remained on his knees, surrounded by cameras, bleeding and broken and diminished. The helicopters landed. Military personnel approached cautiously. Medical teams rushed forward, but the damage was done. By noon, the footage had 500 million views. The headlines were unanimous. Homelander defeated. Social media erupted in celebration and terror. Half the country called Black Adam a hero. The other half called him a monster. In Vought Tower, Ashley Barrett stared at her computer screen, watching their stock price freefall, watching their carefully constructed mythology crumble. She picked up the phone. "Activate Protocol Omega," she said, her voice dead. "Release everyone. I don't care about containment protocols or public safety regulations or—" Her voice cracked. "Just do it. Release every asset we have, every soup in custody, every contract enforcer, everyone." "Director, that's over 40 enhanced individuals." "I know what it is," Ashley screamed. "Release them now or we won't have a company left to protect." She hung up, closed her eyes, and wondered if they just made a deal with the devil or started an apocalypse. Both, probably. The call came to Billy Butcher's phone at 2:47 p.m., 15 minutes after Vought activated Protocol Omega. "You need to get your new friend under control." The voice was Ashley Barrett's, stripped of corporate polish, raw with panic. "We've released 43 soups, combat-trained, desperate. They've been given one directive: bring in Black Adam dead or alive." Butcher laughed, sharp and bitter. "You did fucking what? We're out of options. He humiliated Homelander. He's executing our assets. Our stock is down 38%, and the board is threatening to liquidate the entire—" She stopped, breathing ragged. "If you have any way to contact him, tell him to stand down. Tell him we'll negotiate. Tell him anything." "You just declared war on a god with an army of discount soups," Butcher said, almost admiringly. "That's the dumbest tactical decision I've ever heard. And I once watched Huey try to intimidate A-Train." "Hey," Huey protested from across the warehouse. "They're converging on Times Square," Ashley continued. "We've leaked his location through our surveillance network. He'll be surrounded in 20 minutes. We have soups with acid blood, molecular manipulation, density shifting, things that can actually hurt him." "And when he kills them all?" Butcher asked. "Because he will, love. What's your plan then?" Silence. "That's what I thought." Butcher hung up, turning to the others. "Vought just went full fucking kamikaze. They're throwing every soup they've got at our friend." "We have to warn him," Huey said immediately. "Do we?" MM countered, arms crossed. "Think about it. Vaught's about to thin out their own roster. These aren't innocent people. These are contracted enforcers, the ones who do Vaught's dirty work. Let them kill each other." "Except Adam won't just kill them," Frenchie said from his monitors, pulling up surveillance feeds. "He will judge them. And if he finds them guilty—" He made a throat-cutting gesture. "Public execution, 43 of them, the entire country watching." "That's a fucking massacre," MM said quietly. "We can't be associated with that." "We're already associated with him," Huey pointed out. "Vought knows we made contact. If he goes on a killing spree and we did nothing to stop it, "We can't stop him," Butcher interrupted. "Did you miss the part where he beat Homelander like a rented mule? Twice?" "He grabbed his jacket. But we can make sure the right cunts die and the wrong ones don't." Kimiko signed rapidly. Translated, "She says some of those soups were forced, held against their will, given a choice between compliance or death." "Then we save the ones we can," Butcher said, "and let him burn the rest." Times Square at 3 p.m. on a Thursday should have been packed with tourists, performers, endless human chaos. Instead, it was empty, evacuated by NYPD on Vought's orders, a cleared kill box with nowhere to run. Black Adam descended into the center, boots touching concrete where he'd first arrived in this world 6 days ago. He could feel them coming. 43 signatures burning with compound Vi, approaching from every direction. Rooftops, sewers, surrounding buildings. A coordinated assault designed to overwhelm through sheer numbers. "Teth Adam!" The voice boomed from speakers mounted on surrounding buildings. Ashley Barrett, broadcasting. "You are surrounded by enhanced individuals authorized to use lethal force. Surrender immediately and Vought International will guarantee." Adam raised his hand. Lightning struck every speaker simultaneously, reducing them to molten slag. Then they came. Acid blood rushed from the east, a soup whose body generated corrosive compounds that ate through concrete and steel. He came in low, aiming to splash Adam with dissolving death. Adam caught him by the face mid-charge. The acid burned his palm, actual damage, genuine pain. But his grip didn't falter. "Interesting," he said, examining the chemical reaction. Then he released an electrical pulse that cooked acid blood from the inside out. Phantasm phased through a building wall, intangible, reaching to solidify her hand inside Adam's chest cavity, a technique that had killed 12 people. Adam's lightning adapted mid-discharge, the electrical current shifting frequency to track her phase state. She screamed as electricity found her across dimensional boundaries, dropped her back into solid form, unconscious before she hit pavement. "She's not dead," Huey's voice crackled through an earpiece Adam had been given. The boys watching from a nearby building. "She was forced into Vought's program, kidnapped at 16. Don't kill her!" Adam glanced at the unconscious woman, then up at the building where he knew Butcher's team observed. A fractional nod. Then the real assault began. Groundhog erupted from beneath the street, earth manipulation turning concrete into quicksand. Shockwave came from above, sonic blasts that shattered windows and ruptured eardrums. Mindbender attempted psychic invasion, trying to shut down Adam's nervous system. Razor wire deployed monofilament cables that could slice through tank armor. Adam met them all. He flew upward as the ground liquefied, caught Shockwave's sonic blast and redirected it back at triple amplitude. The soup's own attack rupturing his enhanced eardrums, sending him spinning unconscious. Mindbender's psychic probe touched Adam's mind and recoiled. 5,000 years of memories, divine consciousness, and absolute certainty crashed back along the mental link like a tidal wave. The telepath collapsed, bleeding from his nose. Razor wire's cables wrapped around Adam's torso. They tightened, beginning to cut. Adam flexed, not straining, simply exerting force, and the supposedly unbreakable wires snapped like thread. "Butcher," Adam said calmly into the earpiece, even as he caught two more soupes mid-attack. "Which of these have chosen evil? Which have been forced? Blue costume, your left, trafficker and killer. Red armor, incoming at 6. Political prisoner, no choice. The twins with the flame powers. Corporate volunteers, multiple civilian casualties." Adam processed this in microseconds. He threw the red-armored soup gently toward a building ledge, hard enough to stun, soft enough not to kill. Then he turned to the blue costume and released lightning that left only ash. The battle became a brutal sorting process. 20 soups died in the first 5 minutes. Those who'd killed for profit, who'd abused their power, who'd volunteered enthusiastically for Vought's worst operations. Their executions were quick, efficient, absolute. 12 were incapacitated but left alive. Forced participants, blackmailed assets. Those whose crimes were survival rather than sadism. And 11 tried to run when they realized they were fighting someone who could actually judge their souls. Adam caught them in midair, one by one, dragging them back to Times Square and forcing them to their knees in a line. Lightning danced across his shoulders as he stood before them like an ancient king before condemned prisoners. "You had power," he said, his voice carrying across the empty square. "You chose how to use it. You chose wrong. Please." One of them, a woman with crystalline skin, gasped. "I only did what they told me. I was following orders." "The oldest excuse in human history," Adam said quietly. "The defense of every coward who inflicted suffering rather than face consequence." His eyes blazed. 5,000 years. "And your kind never changes." "Adam," Huey's voice was desperate through the earpiece. "You execute 11 people on camera right now. You'll prove everyone who called you a terrorist right. I will demonstrate," Adam interrupted, still addressing the kneeling Supes. "That power answers to justice. That those who harm innocents face consequence. That your corporate shields mean nothing before—" The missiles struck him center mass. Military ordnance. Vought designed, specifically engineered to neutralize Supes. The explosion lit Times Square like a newborn sun, sent shock waves that shattered everything within 100 yards. When the smoke cleared, Adam stood in a deeper crater, costume scorched, actually staggered. And approaching from 3 directions, flanked by military escort, came Vought's final gambit. 3 Supes who'd been held in maximum containment for reasons of public safety. Victoria Newman, Head Exploder, Congresswoman, Secret Supe, Soldier Boy, the original Compound V success, radioactive and unstable, and limping but conscious, eyes burning with hatred. Homelander himself. "Told you I'd find a way," Homelander said, blood still on his lips. Adam looked at them, then at the 11 still kneeling, then up at the boy's position. "Butcher," he said quietly, "I believe your assistance is required." Billy Butcher had already injected the Temp 5 before Adam finished speaking. The green liquid burned through his veins like liquid fire, forcing his cells to evolve in real time, granting him powers he neither wanted nor trusted. But he'd saved the last 3 doses for exactly this moment, when the world needed monsters to fight monsters. "Everyone doses up," he said, voice already distorting as enhancement took hold. His eyes began to glow red. "Now, Butcher, we talked about this," MM started. "Huey, Frenchie, dose, now." Butcher's command left no room for argument. "Kimiko, you're already juiced. MM, cover our exit. We're going in." Huey's hands shook as he injected himself. Frenchie did the same, muttering prayers in French. The Temp Phi hit them like a freight train. Huey's teleportation abilities flickering to life. Frenchie's nervous system accelerating to tactical precognition levels. They came out of the building like a mismatched Special Forces unit, powered by borrowed time and desperation. In Times Square, the 3-way standoff held for exactly 5 seconds. Then Soldier Boy's chest began to glow. "Everyone down!" Victoria Newman screamed, diving for cover. She'd seen what happened when Soldier Boy released his radiation blast. It stripped Compound Vi from anyone in range, depowered them, left them human and vulnerable. Adam recognized the threat intuitively. Whatever energy that man was building, it resonated wrong. Anti-power, anti-enhancement, designed to unmake what Compound V had made. He launched upward as Soldier Boy released the blast. The radiation wave expanded in a sphere, colorless but devastating. It washed over the 11 kneeling Supes, their screams immediate as their powers burned away, leaving them ordinary humans in torn costumes. The wave continued outward, seeking enhanced targets. Adam caught the edge of it at 50 feet up. The sensation was wrong, invasive, trying to sever his connection to the gods themselves. But Compound V and Divine Blessing operated on fundamentally different frequencies. The radiation stripped away nothing because there was nothing artificial to strip. His lightning answered back. The bolt struck Soldier Boy mid-charge, interrupting the power buildup, sending him skidding backward across cratered concrete. Not dead. The man's durability was legitimate, but stunned, smoking. His unstable power temporarily disrupted. Homelander came from Adam's blind spot, moving faster than before, fueled by rage and pharmaceutical enhancement. Vought had pumped him full of experimental boosters, pushed his cells beyond safety limits. He was dying by inches but didn't care, just needed to survive long enough to kill the one who'd humiliated him. They collided at supersonic speed. The impact shattered every remaining window in Times Square, sent both combatants spiraling through a building facade. They crashed through offices, cubicles, server rooms, neither giving an inch, trading blows that would have killed normal soups instantly. On the ground, Victoria Newman stalked toward the depowered, kneeling soups. Her eyes were cold, calculating. These 11 knew too much. About Vought's operations, about the Supe programs, about Protocol Omega. Loose ends. Her eyes narrowed, focusing on the first one's head. Kimiko hit her like a missile. They tumbled across the plaza, enhanced strength against head-exploding power. Kimiko's healing factor meant Newman couldn't cause lasting damage with conventional force. But Newman's power meant one successful focus would end the fight permanently. They grappled, Kimiko going for the eyes, trying to disrupt Newman's line of sight. Newman screamed, clawing back, trying to get one clear look. Huey teleported between them. His Temp 5 power activated on instinct, phasing both of them 3 feet apart. "Leave her alone!" His voice cracked with adrenaline. "She's not. You don't have to." "They're witnesses," Newman hissed, wiping blood from her face. "They know what we did, what Vought authorized. They can testify." "So let them," Huey screamed back. "Let them tell the truth. Isn't that what we're fighting for?" Newman's laugh was bitter. "You really are that naive." Her eyes fixed on him. "Fine. You first." Huey felt the pressure building in his skull. Frenchie's bullet caught Newman in the shoulder. Not lethal, but enough to break her concentration. The shot was precognitive, fired before she'd fully committed to the kill, his enhanced nervous system calculating trajectory and intent simultaneously. "Non, madame," Frenchie said, already moving, tactical awareness letting him predict her counter. "You do not touch him." Above, Adam and Homelander's battle had devolved into something primal. They crashed through another building, out the other side, rising into open air. Homelander's heat vision burned at maximum output, carving lines across Adam's face that healed almost instantly. Adam's lightning struck back, each bolt forcing Homelander to scream, to bleed, to hurt. "You're nothing!" Homelander shrieked, the words barely coherent. "A glitch! An anomaly! You don't belong here." "No," Adam agreed, catching Homelander's wrist mid-punch. "I do not belong in a world where abominations like you are worshipped as heroes." He headbutted Homelander with enough force to shatter orbital bones. Homelander spun backward, vision blurring, blood pouring from his nose and eyes. The experimental boosters were burning out. He could feel his cells beginning to fail, pushed too hard, too fast. Minutes left, maybe less. But minutes was enough. He came again, all technique abandoned, just fury and fists and the desperate need to hurt the one who'd broken him. On the ground, Butcher faced Soldier Boy. They circled each other, two men who'd been shaped by violence and trauma into something barely human. Butcher's Temp V-granted heat vision flickered uncertainly. Soldier Boy's radiation core glowed with building energy. "You're the one working with a magical asshole?" Soldier Boy's voice was gravel, decades of PTSD and Compound V psychosis. "Bad choice, kid. Says the cunt who murders civilians for fun," Butcher shot back. I'm a soldier. I follow orders. Bollocks. You're a coward who hides behind a flag. Soldier Boy charged, shield raised, enhanced strength carrying him forward like a battering ram. Butcher's heat vision met him head-on. The beams carved into Soldier Boy's chest, not deep enough to kill, but enough to slow him, to hurt him. They grappled, strength against strength. Butcher's borrowed power barely matching Soldier Boy's decades of enhancement. "You're weak," Soldier Boy grunted, forcing Butcher back. "Temporary power, borrowed time, you're nothing." Mother's Milk's assault rifle opened up from a rooftop. Custom ammunition, high caliber, each round tipped with compounds specifically designed to disrupt soupy healing factors. The bullet stitched across Soldier Boy's back, not penetrating his durability, but forcing him to turn, to divide his attention. Butcher's heat vision went for the eyes. Soldier Boy screamed, stumbling backward, hands going to his face. Not blind, but damaged, his vision compromised. Butcher kicked him backward, toward where Kimiko waited. She caught Soldier Boy in a rear chokehold, her enhanced strength locking him in place while Frenchie rushed forward with a syringe full of sedatives powerful enough to drop an elephant. 3 injections, 4, 5. Soldier Boy's struggles weakened, his radiation core dimmed. Finally, he collapsed, unconscious but alive. "Containment!" MM shouted into his comm. "We need immediate containment on Soldier Boy." Above, Adam ended it. Homelander came one last time, boosters failing, body breaking down, but unable to stop. Pride and rage and desperation overriding survival instinct. Adam caught him by the throat. They hung there, suspended 300 feet above Times Square, every camera in New York capturing the moment. "Your time is over," Adam said quietly. "Your false godhood, your corporate shield, your reign of terror." His grip tightened. "All of it ends." "Then do it," Homelander gasped, blood bubbling from his lips. "Kill me. Make me a martyr. Give me the ending I deserve." "No!" Adam flew downward, accelerating, driving Homelander toward the crater below. At the last second, he released, let Homelander crash alone into concrete, let him lie broken in the center of Times Square with everyone watching. Humiliated, defeated, stripped of mystique, alive. Adam landed beside him, lightning dancing across his shoulders. "Death is too merciful," he said, addressing the cameras. "Let him live. Let him heal. Let him know, every day, that he was conquered." His eyes blazed. "Let him be what he truly is. Powerless." The sky above Manhattan turned the color of apocalypse. It started as a hum, frequency so low that it registered as nausea before sound. Then the air itself began to shimmer, reality rippling like disturbed water. And through the distortion, they came. Not Vought's people, not government forces. Something else entirely. "What the fuck is that?" Butcher's voice crackled through the comms. His Temp V enhanced vision seeing things normal humans couldn't. Dimensional fractures spreading across the sky like cracks in glass. Something vast and wrong pressing against the boundaries of reality itself. Adam felt it before he saw it. The same sensation from 6 days ago when magical catastrophe had torn him from his universe. Except now it was happening in reverse. The wound he'd created in the fabric of space-time was hemorrhaging, and things were coming through. The first entity emerged over Central Park, a thing of writhing shadow and impossible geometry, its form refusing to hold stable, cycling through configurations that human eyes couldn't process without pain. It screamed in frequencies that shattered glass and made eardrums bleed. "Mon Dieu," Frenchie whispered, his precognition ability screaming warnings his brain couldn't interpret. "That is not from this world. That is not from any world." The second came through above the financial district, towering, crystalline, burning with cold fire that froze the air itself. Where its attention focused, matter simply ceased. Buildings didn't explode or collapse. They stopped existing, leaving perfect spherical voids in reality. The third, the fourth, the fifth. Interdimensional predators, drawn by the scent of a universe with weakened boundaries. Things that lived in the spaces between worlds, hunting for realities they could consume. "You," Homelander gasped from the crater, broken but conscious, staring up at Adam with eyes that held rage and horror in equal measure. "You did this. Your presence here. It's breaking everything." "He's right," Victoria Newman said, pulling herself up from where Kimiko had left her. Blood streamed from her shoulder wound, but her voice was steady. "You're a dimensional anomaly. Your energy signature is keeping the breach open. As long as you're here, the barriers between worlds continue to degrade," Adam finished, his expression grim. He looked up at the emerging horrors, at the reality bleeding into reality. "Yes, I understand." Another entity tore through, this one almost biological, a mass of teeth and hunger that radiated wrongness like heat. It descended on Times Square with predatory intent, attracted by the concentration of compound V-enhanced humans. Easy prey, dimensional fast food. Adam met it in midair. His lightning struck the creature's mass, but it didn't react like flesh or energy. It absorbed the electricity, metabolized it, grew larger. Pseudo-mouths opened across its surface, laughing in sounds that predated language. "Conventional power won't work," Frenchie shouted, his enhanced perception analyzing the thing's structure. "It exists partially outside our dimensional framework. Most attacks just pass through or feed it." Adam adjusted instantly. If raw power wouldn't work, then precision would. He flew through the creature's mass, hands blazing, not with lightning, but with focused magical energy. Divine power that operated on different laws than physics. His passage carved lines of actual damage, severing whatever passed for nervous systems in something that shouldn't exist. The creature shrieked and fragmented, its cohesion failing. Adam emerged from the other side, covered in ichor that evaporated in his presence. The entity collapsing into non-existence behind him. But there were 6 more. 8. A dozen. "We need evacuation!" MM was on comms with emergency services. "Get everyone out of Manhattan! Immediate evacuation! This is not a drill!" "There's no time," Huey said, watching another entity phase through a skyscraper, watching the building's upper floors simply vanish. "They're coming through too fast. In 10 minutes, they'll consume this entire city," Adam finished. He turned to Butcher, to the boys, his expression carved from stone. "This is my fault. The breach opened because I was pulled through from my universe. My presence here destabilizes the barriers." "So close it," Butcher said immediately. "Send yourself back. Seal it from the other side." "The breach has grown beyond simple closure. It requires—" Adam paused, calculating. His 5,000 years of magical knowledge, searching for solutions. A sacrifice of power. Massive energy discharge at the exact frequency of the original tear. And someone to channel it from within the breach itself. "Suicide mission," MM said flatly. "You're describing a suicide mission. I am describing what must be done." "No." Huey stepped forward, his voice shaking but determined. "There has to be another way. We can get scientists, or Vought has dimensional research, or—" Another building ceased to exist. Screams filled the air as reality unraveled block by block. "There is no time for alternatives," Adam said. Then he turned to Homelander, still lying in the crater. "You, stand up." Homelander laughed, broken and bitter. "Why the fuck would I help you?" "Because if I fail," Adam said simply, "these entities will consume your world. They will unmake everything. Your empire, your worshippers, your very existence." He extended a hand. "And because, despite everything you are, you have one opportunity to be what you've always pretended to be." "A hero?" Homelander's laugh turned into a cough, blood flecking his lips. "No," Adam said. "Useful." The insult hung in the air. Then, impossibly, Homelander started laughing. Genuine, unhinged laughter. He reached up and took Adam's hand. "Fuck it," Homelander said as Adam pulled him to his feet. If the world's ending anyway, might as well go out fighting. His eyes, still damaged, still bleeding, found Adam's. What do you need? Can you fly into one of those breaches? Barely. My powers are everything's fucked from the boosters. I'm running on empty. Yes or no? Homelander glanced up at the tears in reality, at the things crawling through, at the apocalypse unfolding over his city. His city, the one that had worshipped him and feared him, and made him what he was. Yeah, he said finally. I can do it. One last flight. Then here is what we do. Adam turned to address everyone. The boys, Victoria Newman, the depowered Soups still kneeling in shock, the cameras still broadcasting to millions. I will channel every reserve of power the gods have granted me into a single discharge. Homelander will carry me into the largest breach, and when I release that energy, it will seal the dimensional wound. But the feedback will likely destroy us both. Likely? Butcher asked. Certainly, Adam corrected. We will die, but your world will live. Wait! Starlight's voice came from behind them. She'd arrived minutes ago, drawn by the chaos, standing now in her costume, glowing with power. If it's about energy discharge, I can help. My light manipulation, if I channel everything I have. You would burn out in seconds, Adam said, not unkindly. This requires divine power, not compound V enhancement. Then take mine too, Soldier Boy groaned, pulling himself conscious. My radiation core. You said you need massive energy? Channel it through me. Use me as a fucking battery. Adam studied him. You would die. I've been dying for 80 years, Soldier Boy said. Might as well make it count. One by one, others stepped forward. Victoria Newman, offering her powers. The remaining conscious Soups. Even Kimiko, signing that her regeneration could handle the energy drain long enough to help. Adam looked at them all. These broken, flawed, corrupted individuals who'd been created as weapons and commodities, who'd killed and lied and served corporate masters, who were, in this moment, choosing to be more than what they'd been made to be. Very well, he said finally. Then we do this together. He raised his hand, lightning beginning to build. Not just his own power, but drawing from everyone present. The electricity danced from person to person, linking them, combining their energies into something unprecedented. Divine power mixed with compound V, with radiation cores, with light manipulation, with everything they had. The combined discharge lit up Manhattan like a newborn star. Homelander, Adam said, fly. And together, God and monster, enemy and enemy, they launched into the breach. The breach swallowed them whole. Inside was neither space nor time, just the churning interface between dimensions, reality grinding against unreality like tectonic plates. Homelander's scream was immediately lost to the void, his damaged body beginning to fragment at the edges where dimensional pressure tore at molecular bonds. Adam held him together through sheer force of will, one hand gripping Homelander's shoulder, divine power creating a temporary shield against forces that wanted to unmake them, atom by atom. You still alive? Adam shouted over the chaos. Define alive! Homelander gasped, his vision flickering, blood vessels bursting across his face. The experimental boosters were failing catastrophically, his cells consuming themselves for fuel that no longer existed. How much further? Here. Adam stopped them at the breach's center, the exact point where his arrival had punctured reality. He could feel the wound, could trace its edges with senses that predated human understanding of physics. This is where we end it. On Earth, the boys and the assembled Soups maintained the energy link. Power flooded upward through the breach. Starlight's light, Soldier Boy's radiation, Victoria Newman's biokinetic energy, Kimiko's regenerative force, all channeled through the conduit Adam had created. It burned through them like fire, pushed them to their limits and beyond. I can't, Starlight gasped, light flickering. It's too much. Hold, Butcher roared. his own temp phi burning out, eyes bleeding from the strain. "Just 30 more seconds!" Frenchie collapsed, his precognition overloaded by trying to calculate infinite dimensional possibilities. Caught him, felt his own baseline human biology screaming in protest at the energies flowing nearby. Inside the breach, Adam began to weave the power into something specific, a seal, ancient and absolute, using techniques he'd learned 5,000 years ago when God still walked freely between worlds. Egyptian magic mixed with divine lightning, combined with the strange energies of compound vibe to create something unprecedented. A dimensional scar that would heal but never fully fade. A permanent barrier. "When I release this," Adam told Homelander, "the feedback will unmake anything within 100 meters, yourself included." Homelander's laugh was wet with blood. "Figured." His eyes, barely focusing, found Adam's. "You know what's funny? I spent my whole life wanting to be worshipped, wanting people to love me, need me." His voice cracked. "And the one time I actually do something that matters, that actually saves people." He coughed blood. "Nobody will even know I was here." "I will know," Adam said quietly. "The gods will know. And when your soul stands before judgment, this act will weigh against your crimes. Will it be enough?" Adam was silent for a moment. "No," he said honestly. "You have murdered innocents, tortured, raped, terrorized. Your victims number in the hundreds." His grip tightened on Homelander's shoulder. "But it is more than nothing. It is the first unselfish thing you have done in your entire existence." Homelander's smile was bitter. "Guess that'll have to do." "It will have to." Adam raised his free hand, power building to critical mass. The seal was ready, the energy sufficient. One final push and the dimensional wound would close. The entities would be severed from this universe, and the breach would collapse on itself, taking everything inside it with it. "Hey," Homelander said suddenly. "Adam, Teth Adam, whatever." His voice was barely a whisper. Tell them at the end I was a hero," Adam asked. "Useful," Homelander corrected, using Adam's own word. "Tell them I was useful." Adam nodded. "I will." Then he released everything. The discharge was visible from orbit, a column of light that punched through dimensions, through reality itself, burning with every frequency simultaneously. It carried 5,000 years of divine power, the combined energy of 24 enhanced individuals, and the sacrifice of 2 beings who should have been enemies. The seal formed instantly, absolute and irreversible. The breach snapped shut like a closing eye, severing the dimensional predators from their prey, trapping them in the spaces between worlds where they belonged. The feedback wave expanded outward. Homelander's scream lasted a fraction of a second before his molecular structure simply ceased. Not burned or exploded, just stopped existing, every atom simultaneously returning to base energy. His death was instantaneous and complete. Adam lasted longer, 3 full seconds of feeling divine power and human form incompatible with each other, of being torn between dimensions. He had time for one final thought. "Kondak, I served you well. May my people remember." Then he was gone. The light faded. Manhattan stood silent beneath a suddenly clear sky. On the ground, Starlight collapsed, her powers completely burned out. Soldier Boy lay unconscious, his radiation core dimmed to nothing. Victoria Newman survived, but would never use her abilities again, the neural pathways too damaged. The depowered Supes remained human, forever. Butcher fell to his knees, the Temp 5 expended, feeling his cells return to normal. Huey caught him, both of them shaking with exhaustion and shock. Kimiko stared at the sky, signing slowly. Translated, his voice hoarse. She says, "She can't feel them anymore. Either of them. They're just gone." Frenchie pulled up satellite imagery on his cracked tablet, showing the dimensional readings. "The breach is sealed, completely. Whatever they did." He wiped tears from his face. It worked. The cameras had captured everything. Within minutes, the footage circulated globally. Black Adam and Homelander, eternal enemies, sacrificing themselves to save a world that had feared and worshipped them in equal measure. The debate started immediately. Half the world mourned Homelander as a tragic hero who found redemption at the end. The other half celebrated his death while acknowledging his final act. Nobody could agree on what Black Adam had been. God, terrorist, judge, savior, all of the above. None of the above. But everyone agreed on one thing. He had changed their world forever. 1 week later, Vought International declared bankruptcy. Without Homelander, without their most powerful assets, facing lawsuits from 1,000 victims emboldened by the footage of Vought's Protocol Omega, the corporation collapsed in days. The government seized their Compound V research. The 7 disbanded. Soups without corporate backing found themselves subject to actual laws, actual consequences. The boys received a presidential pardon for everything. Billy Butcher refused to collect it, disappeared into the wind. MM returned to his family. Huey and Starlight left for somewhere quiet. Frenchie and Kimiko took contracts hunting down the last of Vought's experiments. In Kahndaq, 7,000 miles away, the people felt a tremor through reality itself, the death of their champion echoing across dimensions. They declared 7 days of mourning. They built a monument. They remembered. And in a warehouse in Brooklyn, on a wall covered with photographs of dead Soups and completed missions, someone, probably Butcher, definitely drunk, had added one final image: Black Adam and Homelander, frozen in the moment before the breach closed. Not enemies, not allies, just 2 beings who'd found, at the very end, something resembling purpose. Below it, in Butcher's handwriting, "Sometimes monsters save the world. Don't make them into saints for it." The lights in the warehouse flickered once, twice, then steadied. Somewhere, a storm was gathering. A different storm, in a different universe, where perhaps someone else would be torn from their world and thrust into another. But that was a story for another time. For now, New York rebuilt. America recovered. The world moved forward, forever changed by 6 days when a god had walked among false heroes and shown them what power truly meant. Not worship, not fear, consequence. The world that emerged from Black Adam's arrival bore scars that would never fully heal. But scars meant survival, meant lessons learned in blood and lightning. In the months that followed, the landscape of power shifted fundamentally. Without Vought's infrastructure, Compound V production ceased. The remaining Soups found themselves subject to oversight committees, registration requirements, and actual legal consequences for their actions. Some fled to nations that still welcomed them. Others retired quietly. A few, like Starlight, powerless but determined, became advocates for Soup accountability. The depowered Soups from Times Square became the prosecution's star witnesses against Vought's remnants, their testimony exposing decades of corporate atrocities. Trials lasted years. Justice came slowly, incompletely, but it came. The dimensional breach left a permanent mark on reality itself, a thin spot where physicists detected fluctuations they couldn't explain, where sometimes, late at night, people swore they could see lightning that wasn't lightning dancing across an empty sky. Conspiracy theories flourished about Black Adam's true nature, his origins, whether he truly died or simply returned home. The footage was analyzed frame by frame. Religious movements sprang up. Academic papers were written. None could agree. But in Kahndaq, they knew the truth. Their champion had walked another world, had judged its false gods, and had given his life to seal a wound in reality itself. They honored him not as a saint, but as what he'd always been, a warrior who understood that power without justice was simply tyranny wearing a crown. And in a world that had worshipped manufactured heroes for so long, Perhaps that was the lesson that mattered most. That true power meant accepting consequence, that divinity meant sacrifice, and that sometimes the most heroic act was simply doing what needed to be done, regardless of cost. The god of vengeance was gone, but vengeance itself, true accountability, genuine consequence, remained. His legacy wasn't salvation. It was a question. What will you do with your power? The answer, as always, belonged to those left behind. New worlds await. More stories soon.